assess, discuss, right? So we are trying to uh, give answer from both the perspective. We try to keep the balance. Therefore, you must have seen important topics also. Usually, you start with advantage word, but in the exam, it's very rare they will start and they will use the exact word of advantage and disadvantage, right? So now coming to the point, if you want to say you're not happy with that, so it's simple. Once you have a let's say a 60% question, you have given 3 points in favor or 3 points against, or let's say 2 points in favor and 4 points against because you don't like that. You can make a clear recommendation that I'm not favoring that, especially with SAF models, suitability, acceptability, feasibility. You can make sure that in three of those itself, you can mention, okay, it's not acceptable for us, it's not feasible for us, if you have the valid reason. Or maybe out of three, you'll say two of them is acceptable, one of them is not acceptable. And that's the reason we are not going ahead with that. So in
So
the we have
can I
to
read the recommendation?
Yeah, please.
The detailed analysis reveals that the use of recycled raw material and the increased price may not satisfy the customer at their desired level. The change of present supplier at low cost may oppose the ethical standard of Cewmlator.
Okay.
The decision may create negative effect on every stakeholder, but in the long run, it may be profitable if the lithium ion as raw material will continue.
Right.
But the technology development pushes the solid state batteries at low cost in global EV market. The BYD of China uses sodium ion battery and stabilized on the low cost market.
Right. They're increasing or they're planning to improve. They are not completely using sodium ion, but yeah, you can say.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
so
a very good recommendation. Yes.
okay, but it may be the recommendation, but on the point of view, I have tried to analyze, but I am not fully satisfied that I could have done the
Just share the
clearly.
complete one. I'll give the feedback. But just for now and for everyone, we need to maintain the balance. You can highlight what are the top negative points. Negative as in the disadvantages, which is the reason why you are not in favor of that. Let's say if it is 60-60, it's not like you have to always give 3-3. You can give 2 as to 4. 2 advantages and you're giving 4 disadvantages. And that's completely
Basically, whenever in the second point, in the second question, they have asked the SAF analysis. So in that case, the acceptability point, actually, I got very much struggle to do this one.
right. So whenever a question comes for acceptability, SAF is usually asked. I think at least in one variant it should be there for you guys. Okay. So acceptability is about the stakeholders. Suitability is about the current situation. So in acceptability, usually when we are going for a new market or we are coming with a new product, why we do that? To improve our revenue and profit, isn't it? We are for profit business. We are listed. We have shareholders. We are answerable to them, isn't it? So think about the shareholders. Then secondly, sometime if we are divesting something or we are automating something, it might affect our employees. They are the second stakeholder for the job. They might lose their job. Or they have to do a lot of upskilling. Sometimes we don't want to remove them, but they are scared and they will just resign themselves. That kind of problem can also happen. Then third thing, you can talk about your current covenants if you have with the bank. Technically, finance will come in feasibility, but bank as a stakeholder you can highlight. Then board of directors, if you have expertise or not. Government regulation. Let's say you're acquiring something locally, then we might have anti-monopoly law. Monopoly issue can come in. That's also a stakeholder. So if you just talk about 3-4 stakeholders, you will get it.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So, Misbah, question regarding SAF. What can be the indirect question related to? So, because mostly they say evaluate through SAF and all that.
Instead of using the word SAF, they'll just say evaluate the proposal. Anywhere we are doing some kind of proposal, project.
Okay.
That place you can use SAF model. It's a good way to answer.
Okay.
But let's say they have not mentioned to use SAF and you have also not used. Is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. If you answer in certain way, it's fine. Yes, Kamran.
Uh, Actually, the SF model question are too much. I went through the box, so many questions on SAF.
Yes,
So
yes.
can we have one practice question here? We can solve it. And
Yeah, we can
when we are,
discuss. No problem.
yes, when we are saying evaluate the, for example, SAF, because there is a mock 2 question of CIMA. The question is evaluate
We wrote
SAF.
one mock in the last session, if you guys remember. That was for SCF only. I was trying to type, but we can take it again. No problem.
Yeah. So evaluate SAF for disposal of factory inferred land. So when we are saying evaluate SAF, so we have to tell the any positive and negative, or how we have to
Evaluate the SF when we are saying we are considering 3 S, A, and F. S is for suitability, A is for acceptability, F is for feasibility. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So we're not going to tell them that what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages. No.
Indirectly, maybe, but not directly. I'll just go to the employee topics from there. We can see indirectly, yes, directly, no, because we are looking at specific thing. Suitability is whether it is suitable for us or not. Let's say one of the reason you can say why we should not divest as a suitability is we are doing currently good. Our revenue and profit has gone up. We don't see any major issue in our business, isn't it? We have good dividends. Stakeholder also looks satisfied. So no need. That is like suitability. Acceptability is okay. What kind of profit will increase in the future? How are the stakeholders being affected? You can talk about acceptability, I just discussed. Then feasibility is all about the resources, human resource, technical resource, and all of that.
So in a SAF case, it is different actually. When they are saying evaluation, actually it's not the positive or negative. We just have
positive, negative. Within that, as an example, you can use.
Okay.
We can take a question. That's not a problem. Ethics. I'm just looking where I have added here. Customer perspective. Yeah. Anything else? Any other question on that? So evaluate target methods. In that little bit we have mentioned acceptability kind of thing, and there should be another important topic. We'll come to that, or we can take the question also completely. That's completely fine. Another thing you can talk about regarding the project. Yeah, it's here. Point 22. Points to consider in strategic decision making. So a safe model has been kept here. So apart from that, what you need to consider is time, cost, control, capability. Sometime, though it is rare, they'll say evaluate the proposal. What are the areas we should consider in this project apart from SCF, not using SCF? Then you can talk about other areas. Because the examiner will know, okay, the student is very much prepared for SCF model. Now just talk something else. So that is possible. Okay.
Okay.
Joe, you have one question with regards to gearing. Can you advise best one to use debt, equity, or book value debt? So technically, don't confuse with what is book value. Now take everything from the pre-scene that I believe we can say as book value, right? First point. Second point is you want me to suggest. So I would say I have different options depending on the amount we need. Okay. And whatever you are doing, debt is also correct, equity also correct, because currently we are into very good position. If you see the financials, we have good collaterals for the debt, plus our share price is doing good. We have given good dividend. So both we can do, it will not be a problem for us to raise money from either side. Now, which one to do, it is our decision, I believe. If you ask me personally, maybe depending on the money, I'll decide. Depending on the cost, how much exactly is the required. Maybe if it is a big amount and it is required over the period of time, so maybe I'll go with debt. But I need money for, let's say, acquiring a business, maybe equity can be better. Even if you see, I am sharing the pre-scene now. I hope you guys can see. One of
So additionally,
Yeah.
Additionally, means if we don't have to touch the gearing, then we can also look at sale and lease back as an option. Also, look for ESG integrated financing such as green bonds, etc.
Yes, yes. And our property, plant and equipment has also gone up. I just wanted to show this. This is another reason why debt can be possible. And you are saying if the question is about 5 billion, right? So I believe in 5 billion, we can use half of our cash also. Joe, we have 3.7 billion in the bank. We can use 2 billion out of that, maybe 2.5, and remaining we can use external funding. Especially if something is around 1 billion, let's say. So internal can be the best.
What
We
about
are very
retained
good.
earnings, Misma?
Yeah, that's what I was coming to. Retained earnings we have, but retained earnings is not equal to cash. We might have more money than what we're showing in the bank, but retained earning is not equal to cash.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Ramani.
Sir, I have one point here, because in the case of ratio calculations, if any investment is there, so we are able to do the balance sheet ratios, debt equity and like that. But relating to profit and loss account, the how much it is affecting the investment on ROC and profitability ratio, that is not possible to calculate. How can all this can be managed? Because they are asking in some cases provide the ratios. So obviously all these will not be the balance sheet ratios. Some will be ROC and like this profitability ratio. So how can it be managed that how much in this investment will affect to the profit? Because I don't know what will be the effect on the cost.
Right, right. So obviously we don't have all the details in terms of numbers, but don't worry, in the exam they'll never ask you specifically about the ratios. Whatever they ask is based on the information they have given in the pre-scene, or they'll give you in the refreshment.
But in mock there are some 2-3 questions relating to ratios, provide ratios.
Yeah, so what they can ask is what are the key ratios we should consider for the
Yes,
stakeholders.
a key
If
ratio,
say
of course, yes.
we discussed chapter number 1, where we're talking about as an investor, some ratios can be, let's say, as a shareholder, they are looking for dividend and share price.
Yeah.
And as bank, they are looking at the gearing, they are looking at the profit, they're looking at obviously interest cover ratio and all of that. And as an employee, they are looking at different ratios. So that way you can answer. Usually, if that question comes, it will be open-ended, not close-ended. What's the difference between open-ended and close-ended? Most of the question in exam, you will get open-ended. Let's say I ask you in the just start of the class, how was your week? What all you did for preparation? That was open-ended question. But then the next question was, did you do that mock? So it was a close-ended question, yes and no. So when you have open-ended question, you have flexibility to, talk about so many.
Yes.
And use that as a strength. I've seen students, they have maybe, they have not even practiced much. They are not confident E3, B3, F3 or pre-scene industry, but they were good into writing and they've cleared. And some students, they have done everything, which I believe is important, but they have struggled in the exam to write. Some of them get through, or some of them, lag back 1 mark, 2 mark. So writing is very important. Just knowing is not.
Skill. Yes, the writing skill, it is one of the most important over here. Yes.
So that's what you guys need to practice for last few days now. Honestly, I believe we can get 100%. All of you can pass. It's very easy. The industry, the pre-scene this time, we are a little bit lucky also, because all of us know this industry. If we don't own an electric car, but at least we know somebody who owns, or at least we know about the car, right? Because a lot of things what we have, like financing, insurance, or parking issues, all of this is with normal car as well. Plus we know the industry. This week during my research, I just found out the top 10 economies of the world. If you see what they are doing, directly, indirectly, most of them are doing something with the automobile industry. They have their own car brands, or at least they are a majority supplier or manufacturer of this car equipment. Every big economy, if you see. So that means we are a very, very good asset for our Duxland government. That too, it's not only us, but we have Atom also. So two biggest world company in the same country, you can imagine how much we are contributing. So definitely we'll have power in negotiation with the government. We are contributing to the GDP directly. You're getting the point? Yeah. Anything else? Raju, I think there is some deviation from the main point. Otherwise, your answers were really good. You passed the previous mark, but this one, just review it. Or maybe if I understood something wrong, you can let me know as well.
Sure, Misbah. Very good. Work on it.
Yeah. The marking has been really strict because I don't want it to be too easy. It's always, good to be strict. So when you go for the exam, you know where we need to improve. Because it doesn't make sense just passing in the mock here and not clearing in the exam, right? If it is other way around, it's good.
I think my scoring was based on only 4 questions, Misbah, because the first 2 I sent you separately. Then I thought, okay, no need to redo it again. Then I did only the question 2, question
Yeah, so
3,
you can
the
add
4
it up.
sub-questions. Okay.
You can just add it up and see.
Okay.
You'll get a decent idea. Yeah. CIMA very strict on marking. Yeah, I think definitely not strict. They have their policies based on that they work. But they are strict in terms if somebody gets 79, will they get pass? No, they will get 79 only. Any other question?
Can we please go through what I've requested on the group, please? If
Yeah,
no one
tell
has
me
any-
what is that? Can you explain me from what perspective? Your
Yeah, just a minute, please. Okay. It's evaluating corporate governance on any acquisitions or any other topics. I do kind of understand, but just like evaluating on that kind of messing me around.
So you want to know what is corporate governance and what type of question can come from there and how to
Yes,
answer.
please.
Is that correct?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, Miss. Actually, even I'm struggling with that part.
So corporate governance, the simple answer, if you're struggling with corporate governance, look at chapter 5 recordings of P3, which is there on the drive, plus we have discussed in the class. Okay. For a very detailed analysis. It will not take much time, it's worth going in. Now, in session now, if we are looking specifically what is corporate governance. So technically in corporate governance, we are looking at how the entity is run. Okay. Basically what policies and procedures we have, it can be mix of the legal requirement, what we have as a business, and it is also the policies and procedures which we have chosen as a company. Maybe I'll share that with the notes on the screen so that will make more sense. Just give me a second. And what type of questions they can ask from here is obviously about the committees. Do we have the committees? Do we comply with that or not. Like in our case, if you see, we are complying with that. We have the committees, right? We have audit committee, we have risk committee, we have remuneration committee, we have nomination committee. What question they can specifically ask in our cases is the committee effective or not? So you have to write about it. Now, how to know whether it's effective or not? We don't have much information in the pre-scene again. In the exam itself, they'll give you some information. Based on that, you need to write. Yes, if you see, this is where the corporate governance start. So what is corporate governance here? They are saying the system by which companies are directed and controlled in the interest of shareholder and other stakeholders. Then we have some requirement that is specifically from the UK perspective, but we don't need to talk about that. They won't ask the legal part. But corporate governance, as an overview, is part of risk. Just risk, and the risk management keeps on changing. Same thing, the corporate governance and the requirements is changing, and it will keep changing. For example, here they have talked about 1980s and 1980s some failure. Then they have talked about financial crisis. So whenever some financial crisis or a fraud happens, it comes to public, and now they are like, okay, we need to change the regulation. Or they are doing small changes simultaneously, evolution. But revolution will come when there is something major issue that is happening. Another important aspect here is we want somebody who is independent to come up and take the key position. Independent as in who doesn't have their personal interest, who doesn't have their personal money involved or their family involved. Therefore, we have NEDs, and we have given the key position in the committee to the NEDs, like audit committee, remuneration committee, nomination committee. Everything is with the NEDs. So we need EDs to manage the business, but to look at the EDs, whether they are ethical, whether they are, working for company, not for their personal growth. We need NEDs. The chair itself, the chair means the head of the committee itself should be NED, non-executive director. Make sense? And the best part is, it's not like the EDs get scrutinized, but the NEDs, they can scrutinize EDs, but their performance will also be scrutinized by other NEDs. So everybody have to be contributing to the company, otherwise they have to leave. These are certain points, if you want, you can remember, like why we want them to be independent, as we discussed. Because they should have detached view, they should have dispassionate view, they should be independent. They'll provide confidence. If somebody has personal interest, even if that person is unbiased, as an outsider, as a shareholder, what they will think? They will doubt. They will doubt the integrity, isn't it? Make sense?
So Cewmlator has 5 EDs and 4 NEDs. So isn't that unequal? They need one
Yes.
person more on NED. So is that a lack of finance director? No, not finance director. Sorry, someone who has financial skills or expertise.
So technically what the corporate governance says is it should be 50-50. At least 50. If you have more NED, is fine. Excluding
Because
the
it's
chair. Other than
imbalanced.
the chair.
Yeah.
So if you see, is 5-3 what we have.
So it's imbalance, isn't it?
Yes, Soren is obviously the chair. Then if you
So
look at, we have a
imbalance,
CEO, Key, Edwin, Operations Director, 2, Professor Anna, R&D 3, Suhas 4, and Stella 5.
Yeah.
Chair we are not considering, so we need 5 more NEDs. So if you look here, we have Professor Salim 1, Professor Uzma 2, then Stamatis
Three.
3. That's it.
We don't have IT NED who has technology knowledge, and we don't have financial knowledge on NED side, basically.
Yeah, so we need to have a balance. Ideally, we should have to. What we are doing is illegal. No, it's not. But it's not the best case. It will raise questions.
But
Now,
it's suggested to be balanced.
yes.
It's not
recommended.
legally required, or not. You're not bound for it. But that could
Actually,
be a question.
again, it can go to other point. If you remember, we discussed UK follow a principle-based approach,
Yeah.
and US is rule-based approach. So we are following principle-based where we have to comply or explain. So
Right.
if we have legitimate reasons why we don't have this, should not be a major problem. But still, it will raise concern. Usually, in the practical world, companies don't want to take this, additional concern. They don't mind having 2 people. And
Okay.
especially these people are not working for money. They don't need to pay very high remuneration, just a small thank you money kind of thing, as per the article of session. So companies want to have even more NEDs.
Right. Okay.
Coming to the second part, you're talking about IT, finance. That is our thing. What you want to bring in your board. Yes, in one place, finance we can justify because in audit committee we need to have at least one person who understands finance. Which
Yeah,
we
we're lacking there,
yes.
and so does the remuneration as well.
Remuneration is not required to have finance.
Okay.
I mean, if you have, obviously you'll keep that person in different committees. Let's say if you get new NEDs, the first thing he or she can be part of audit, then she can also be part of remuneration.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So usually the question coming from corporate governance is regarding internal audit or audit committee, and what they're asking is effectiveness.
So
Or
Agar koi-
maybe-
sorry. If there's a question on internal audit, what would be the layout of an answer? Like, what would be the best layout to make it easier and justify what we are trying to respond?
Yeah, so honestly, it depends on the question, but let's say if it is a discussion question that something happened, okay, and they're trying to put the blame on the internal audit team or the audit committee.
I think, Misbah, the top 50 exam topics what you gave, the 10th point talks about basically. It's a short reference notes we can refer before or the time what we have right now. So the role and responsibility of an audit committee. So you have given the list of pointers that can be referred.
Yeah.
And in point 13, we have something about pointers on the nomination committee. Then we have point 18 point is on issues related to corporate governance. So all of this point can help us in
Yes,
structuring the
thank you,
answer.
Raju. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And-
this can be done, and specifically if you're looking at audit committee, apart from this point, if it is a, again, they're putting a blame on the audit committee and audit, you have to answer it just like any other question. Because start with evaluate, analyze. You have to say some points in their favor, some point against them. For example, you can say, despite having the best audit committee or internal audit, you can still have issues. You will still, because risk is never 100% managed, right? Especially if risk is coming from out of the box, which was not even there in a risk register, will face issues. So these 2 points you're trying to defend them. Then maybe other 2 points you can say, yes, it was their responsibility. They have to be proactive. Though it was not there in the initial stages, but they need to be proactive that at least after some time they should have taken care of. Why it was ignored completely. Then you can say maybe the competence of the current people need to be evaluated. Or are they getting overworked? Did they have so much more responsibilities that they are not able to take care of? Or do they need more resources? So you can talk from both the perspectives. These pointers will become your headers, then you can explain around them. And finally, you can recommend. Yes, you can put the blame on them, or you can say, we don't need to blame them, we need to change our policy and procedure. Both of them can be correct. And while doing that, you can bring this roles and responsibility. If something is not their responsibility, we cannot blame them. Because the same thing with the corporate governance, previously they have asked is about the IT director. We don't have anybody in IT director. But what happened is we faced a cyber attack, and they were not asking about the reputation, the share price, and everything. The question was, what's the point of having an IT director if we are facing the cyber attack? The board is seriously considering to remove that person from the board directly.
Currently, we don't have IT directors, so
Yeah,
that
we
could
don't
be
have.
another point. Yeah.
So they can change that. Instead of IT, they can put somebody else's name. But I'm just saying, isn't it not extreme? Just one attack and you are like putting blame entirely on that person. You're like, we don't want to have that position.
It's not very right way to do, is it? We need to evaluate and find out how it happened rather than just getting rid of the person won't solve the problem.
Yes, and whatever we do, we cannot have 100% mitigation. That also we need to understand. So usually the discussion question will be there, and discussion you need to have understanding of both. So even if you think like an examiner, even if I'm making the mock, I think about looking at your knowledge, and how we can look at the knowledge is to give you a discussion, open-ended questions from both the perspective. So this is where the examiner look, okay, do you know the concept? Okay. Do you know the pre-scene? Okay. Are you able to apply? Are you able to connect the dots? Are you bringing something from the industry? Are you giving a rational answer? You don't want anything that is very specific. It's very, very rare you'll have very specific questions. Maybe in funding, they ask you what are the funding options we have or what are the debt options we have. But still you have so many more things to elaborate. Joe is asking, what of a situation whereby the issue, there is a problem with a particular department, how will the internal audit assist, and or what should they do in to help them sort out that issue? Yeah, that's a good question. So this is part of a special investigation. So we have something like this coming up. I believe it was long back, 3-4 years back, there was a question that there was a news article saying our suppliers were not ethical, and on the top of that, they were using some materials which is substandard. They have promised us something and they are using something else. And it was a news article. So the question was whether or not we should use our internal audit for a special investigation at our supplier's manufacturing facility. So technically, we want our internal audit team to go there and check whether they are following whatever they have promised us in the contract. So that will be a kind of managing reputation risk. So the question was whether we should do it or not, or in terms of whether they are also asking how to do it. So the simple answer for that is yes, we can do it. How to do it is without affecting our relationship. Because many times the information might not be correct. If you're too rude and if you're like doubting it completely, the trust is gone, it can affect our future projects. Also, we need to see as a stakeholder how powerful that stakeholder is, that supplier is. Their interest and power we need to see. Let's say if it is a lithium supplier and we have only one supplier, can we do that? Can be more risky. It can be risky. Maybe discussion is good.
But just because the holding power of supplier, they cannot do unethical business, right? We can still go ahead with
Still, this
the
information.
stringent action.
Yeah, I understand. But if you see in the real world, mostly it's manipulated by our competitor. And it's their media that is highlighting, or it's a paid news. And they don't compare it properly. It's like apple and oranges. What they do, they will, let's say it is in undeveloped country that mine, and they are following the local regulation. But this media guy, what they will do, they'll compare with the Dachshund thing. So obviously, they don't need to comply with Dachshund regulations, right?
Yeah.
So things like this can happen. But you're correct. Ethically, yes. Even if they're powerful, we should do it. But what we are doing is we're not avoiding it, but we are going in a more respectable way. First, we'll discuss that. We'll see what they have to say. What is their response? It should not be like a reaction. Oh, something is in the news, or we have just decided to send our internal audit team, even if the stakeholder doesn't have high power. Because we have to build relationship. And that's what will help us in our working capital to have the low inventory. Just in time is not just about the technology, it's about the relationship. Okay. Does it make sense for everyone? Joe? If you're looking specifically what internal audit do, again, they are part of the risk management. Internal audit look at the controls. They don't design the control, they just check whether the controls are there and the controls are effective or not.
And one important point I have studied in the industry example is that any ad hoc tasks are given to the internal audit, it will be difficult for them to manage because they mostly work on the routine or annual based audit related tasks that are assigned by the audit committee. So that becomes challenging for them to perform any ad hoc requests. That can also lead to pressure and quality outcome.
That's true.
And also they are seen as the independent and objective assurance team. Therefore, the type of audit or what is given to them matters, because I've seen one of the mock question where the sustainability report what we have published, the measures what we have shown that is incorrect. So is it appropriate for our internal audit team to audit that? So how the shareholders will look like, though it is an independent team, but still the internal audit team is part of Cewmlator. We can still be in favorable of the result what we published, but then the shareholders may not be interested. They would expect a third party consultant to or the professional body to perform the audit. So that's the
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. You know, we are talking about case study, we are talking about internal audit, we are talking about so many things, industry. Eventually, it's an exam. And the examiner is trying to look particularly two things, whether you know it and whether you can apply to the scenario. That's it. Though we talk it's like a real world, you're emailing to the finance director, everything. Yes. But again, at the end, it is just an exam. That's the reason we need quantity. If it is a real world, you don't need so much of quantity. Isn't it? Make sense? Yeah. What's the next?
And the next quick financials strategy, just like example, quick revision on share price. I do understand the numbers. We are constant for years, and then also with dividend, we've got 0.3. That's what we are paying. But just what kind of question and how we should just try to answer that. Just quick visit to it, please.
Sure.
Sorry.
No problem. So finance, if I have to say what type of question they can ask directly, it can be about the funding. That's the most commonly asked question. Okay. Apart and how to answer funding, obviously we have discussed. Debt option, equity option. What are the characteristics? Yeah. Tell me.
Sorry. So, my task that I've submitted, there were good few questions on them. And I think there is one of the tasks, if you could pick up on that one, that will
Can you
help.
just, tell me what was the exact task?
Yeah, I'm just quickly going through it. Just a minute. Where is that one gone?
Whatever, if you remember, you can just tell it.
Yeah, it's about I think issuing rights.
Rights issue. Okay. Again,
think-
part of funding only.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, so rights issue
Right
we
issue.
are doing because we need to raise money, and as we know the characteristics of equity, if you feel like characteristics of equity is beneficial in that particular scenario, you can go ahead with it. What technical knowledge you need is how it will affect us. What are the advantage and disadvantage? The advantage of rights issue is you are not having new covenants. You will not have pressure with the banks in the future. Your gearing will not go up. What can be the disadvantages of that we can talk about is your share price might go down because we have to give discount. Maybe in certain cases, not all the rights will be bought off. That can be another issue. Then if you have recently raised money through right issue, that can be a problem. Or if you want to do it again, it might be a problem because back-to-back shareholders might not have so much of money. Plus, we also need to consider why we need that money. Why is like how much we need, why we need, how long we need, what project it is. Everything will be important. That's it.
Misbah, you said the rights issue will not increase in gearing.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, gearing will reduce technical. What is gearing? Debt to equity ratio. If you take more debt, the gearing goes up.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, we have 3.7 billion cash reserve,
Yeah.
and then we are thinking of acquiring the new site for, let's say, motors,
Okay.
and that's going to cost around $5 billion.
Okay.
And our book value is 28.7 billion. So if we increase the new issues as per the 5 billion compared to 28.7 and then 3.7 billion in cash reserve, it's around 17 to 19% new issue will increase. Won't it affect shareholders? Wouldn't it put our funds at risk?
Why you want to raise so much? Whatever you need, we can raise that much money only. If you need 5 billion, you can just raise 5 billion. That's it.
Right. So if they talk about rights issues, so what would be the best way to lay out the answer?
So technically, how it works in firstly, if you understand the technical rights issue is, it depends on how much money we need. Based on that, we'll keep the discount. That is clear, right?
Yeah.
And it's very rare. Firstly, they'll ask just for the rights issue. They'll ask what are the equity options we have, or what options we have other than from the debt. You don't want to take a loan, credit. So retained earning is one, cash at bank is another. Though both are very similar, but we can write separately. Then a rights issue. Rights issue, if you are doing, we need to look at the relationship with the shareholders. What is information we have? Limited information. You can look at the dividend what we have paid. Even one of the option can be zero dividend. Don't give dividend and use that money as an investment.
Okay, so basically suspecting the dividend and paying to the okay, so we don't have to really raise. However, we have a beta is 0.56. That's why Cewmlator has been seen as a low risk business. But if we, let's say there's only option been given that we are planning to write issues, so the beta will go up, let's say any amount, the percentage will have to be calculated on time. So the risk will go higher. And you said a gearing level.
Beta should go up if you are taking equity. No, there's no theory as such. Maybe or maybe not.
Okay, and wouldn't it affect
Beta
gearing
will go
level
up
either?
if
Because
there is some uncertainties in the industry. If there is some issue in the company, let's say we have our internal audit and it was not effective, or people don't trust the CEO, or there were some ethical issues with our board of directors, then the beta will get affected.
so
With
that's
just
systematic
making the
risk.
right issue, our beta is going up. No, I don't think so.
Okay. And gearing level is 41.1%.
Yeah.
So that won't be affected either. As you said, it will go
Gearing
down.
will go down. Gearing will go down if you have more money coming in from equity. So technically, there is a force If you take debt, it will pull up the gearing. If you take equity, it will pull down the gearing.
Right.
Hello,
Okay. All right. Thank you.
hello.
Yes, Mr. Raman.
Uh-huh. Sir, one point is that whether right issue will change any dilution? I think no,
No, because it's the
because
same.
normally same proportion.
Just the share capital is going to increase.
Yes, yes, yes. Sir.
The amount of
But
money they have.
there
is
will be
the
no
same.
change in the dilution.
For example, now, let's say we are running a business, okay, and all of you are the owners. Currently, you have invested, let's say, 10 million or 15 million, each one of you 1 million. And now we need money, and let's say we need another 1 million. So, and all of you are putting small percentage of that. Let's say equal percentage. That 15 million what you have put will become 16 million. That's it. Your shareholding proportion will remain the same. The percentage of ownership, everything remains the same. What will happen is our gearing will come down, looking at the percentage. Or sometimes company want to be smart, they want to use both debt plus equity. So gearing might almost be the same again. In certain cases, maybe some of you don't want to invest. You might sell this to other shareholders. So individual level, it can affect the percentage of ownership. But as a company, we are giving the right, we are giving the benefit. We are not giving it to outside. We are giving it to inside, and if it is for insider, we are giving them discount. So as a shareholder, they might be happy. The only thing is, we need to give them confidence that whatever new project we are doing or what we are doing in future, their money will be returned with multiplication. They'll get good returns on it, in simple words. That's it. Make sense?
Thank you. Yes.
No problem. So you can remember gearing, you can remember dividend, you can remember our PP that has gone up. Just 1 second. Yeah, you have talked about integrated reporting, Joe, and you have talked about the share price. We'll discuss both. First, we can discuss the share price because related to finance only. Please, can you advise ways the board can protect share price if there is a public news about an error in our vehicle? That's a good point. So technically, yes, share price related question have been asked so many times. I believe you guys have gone through the important topics there also. It was highlighted. It can be any issue. Let's say with our vehicle, with our see, there was one case that our CEO was involved in some bribery, and that news became public, and because of that, our share price has gone down. The question is very commonly asked, but it is asked in 3 ways, which students don't understand. First is the straightforward way. They'll ask you the share price has gone down because of so many or so and so reason. Like I said, the share, the CEO, or it may be that we have lost a client, or it may be we have lost a supplier, anything. So there you have to do the manage. You have to just manage the situation. What you can do immediately to restore the confidence. That's the first thing. But the same scenario or the same story, they can ask like why it went wrong. They are trying to understand what was the reason. They're not asking you to solve the problem. They're asking you what caused the problem. You're getting the point. The first one was to solve the problem immediately. Now they're asking you what caused the problem. Whether it's through the CEO, through the supplier, through the customer. Clear? Now they'll give you share price. Third scenario they'll ask is how we should avoid this problem in the future. They're not asking what caused it. They are very clear. They are not asking what to do immediately because they know how to solve this. As you can see, we have seen a lot of ups and downs. So they know it. But they're asking how to avoid this, or maybe avoiding is a strong word, but they can still use, or how we can reduce the probability of this happening in the future. First one was immediate action. Second one was understanding what happened. Third is how to avoid this in the future. These 3 type of question came up. But what happened? The student will not understand the question clearly, or they have their own bias in their head, and they'll try to answer same for all 3 points, or same for all 3 questions, which is a very silly mistake. Is it clear? If it's clear, just let me know how your answer will change in all three scenarios. Maybe 1 point. Any one of you, please. You want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, so there are three scenarios. One scenario, they're asking you how to manage this share price issue, like what you should do immediately because the share price constantly going down and the market has a bad perception about a company. That's the first. Second is they wanted to know how to find the cause of it, the why of it. And third is for the future, how to avoid this situation in the future.
Do you think it could be the black market as well? Sometimes people internally sell, buy it and sell it, and buy it, sell it is short selling. Could that be the effect of our share price not being constant or maybe low?
Okay, so this is like why it happened. Okay, one aspect is done. Other two.
It could be the competitors making it happen as well, because if it's been issued outside.
This is done. Why is clear.
Oh, okay.
That question is answered. The two other question, Hina.
So for the first question, the immediate action can be to communicate and reach out to the shareholders and give them the background as to what has happened and what currently we are, what action we are currently taking on. And also, if possible, publish a news report or newsletter to the key stakeholders on what has happened and how we are correcting the rectifying the current situation. So communication plays a key role in the first case.
Yeah, so communication is a keyword.
Yeah, and we can definitely use expert from the board, Uzma, who's been skilled with journalism and social media related aspects that she can really manage well. So we can seek her support to handle the situation.
Strengthening the governance ensures that this doesn't happen going forward, and see where things are been, like shares are been selling and buying.
Makes sense. What else can we do? A lot of other students are very silent. Do you want me to
Fraud? You
ask?
think that could be the? Sorry.
Yes, continue.
There could be some issues, like maybe some fraud, or people are not being compliant and selling it and buying it for the reason of just making small amount of money, which is overall affecting for the company. Just a quick money by selling it, buying it on a short profit margin.
I think that's possible, but my point of view on that is Cewmlator as a big organization. So what can be that contribution of those small retail traders who creates that arbitrate situation is that's related to pricing, but
yeah, this kind of fraud can happen regardless of the size of the business. It happened to JLR, it happened to Toyota as well previously. So regardless of the size, fraud can happen.
okay.
That makes sense. I need some point from Sumukh. You're very silent. Sumukh, Mega, Anvay, Naisa, Mahesh, Aditi.
Sometimes small businesses keeping an eye and detailed eye on everything what's happening if they are small business and have share prices histories. But the bigger the business, the more small fish try to get in. But again, I'm happy to discuss this.
Yeah, I mean, there are different ways of looking at it, but both perspectives are correct. You know, in the real life, as we can see in our personal life also, there is nothing right and wrong. It's very difficult to come to that, because usually when we are student, we used to think, okay, it's very clear, this is right, this is wrong. But once we grow, once we have experience, and same thing with the business, we understand there is nothing right and wrong. It's just how you justify, or we can say it's situational right or wrong. For example, debt and equity, right? Sometimes going with the debt was a good decision, but the other time the same thing can be a biggest blunder for the company. Let's say it was a COVID time, giving away dividend was a blunder because company was not able to raise finance out. But the same thing done in a different situation was a very good decision by the company. Or sometimes it's the same thing, same situation, just the leadership or just the perspective or the understanding of the person, the risk capacity of that person, or understanding of the market, that will change the scenario. So therefore, in the that's the beauty of case study, and that's what we are learning. We know that the life or the decision is never that straightforward. Nothing is like right and wrong. Everything is in between. Sometimes we
This is
have to take the decision which is not wrong because very difficult to get something right. So we'll try to avoid mistakes and then try to work hard and smart to make that not wrong decision to be a right decision.
We want to be directionally correct based on the
Yeah,
Yeah,
at least you have to
yes.
say, okay,
and of,
I'm
yeah,
doing wrong.
and also we can connect the share price impact to the EMH, the efficient market hypothesis theory, wherein the semi-efficient market will have direct effect of public news to the share price. So if it is a strong efficient market, then anything private information also will reflect the price. That can happen through the internal employees, like you said. So based on that, the share price might fluctuate.
Yes.
Yeah. This is also a reputational risk on the question going back to what Misbah has asked. So it's something that need to be discussed, uncertainty.
Yes. So you're saying could be used, could be because we internal controls issues or board management. Yeah, possible. Yeah, everything is semi-strong. We are living in a semi-strong world because if we say it's strong, it's illegal. You cannot have internal information outside. And we don't have a weak form. We're talking about efficient market hypothesis. We don't have weak form because whenever things get public, the share price will react to it. I don't think any market is weak in today's world what we're talking about. Everything is instant, right? It's not only about Duxland, it's about global. In fact, different
Will
stocks
it not have
connected.
will it
If
not have
something
direct
happen in
relation
Japan,
to
sorry, tell me.
sorry go ahead Mr.
So I was just saying it's not only about the country. If something happen in Japan, eventually it will happen in NYSE, right? All the stock exchanges are also connected.
But will it not have direct relation to the political stability?
Yeah, again, political stability is a public information. If stability is publicly, if people know that the government and the political situation is not good, then it will affect. Let's say there are a lot of problem coming up, but nobody knows why it will affect.
But Misbah, this price changes, share price changes doesn't always happen because of the public news or information out there, or regardless. But it also how company is doing actually also affects the share price.
Yeah, obviously, company can definitely do.
It doesn't only rely on just what we inform out. Do we?
Yes. It happened. I mean, it will happen for so many reasons. We were just discussing one information. If we don't do anything, then what's the reason? So yeah, that's what Joe says. So only public information should be influence the share price? No. It's just company we are giving rights, share price will come down. Let's say we don't want to give away dividend. We have given a lot of money last year. We say, okay, we don't want to give anything, but we want to keep shareholders happy. So we'll say, okay, we'll give you free share. Free share, or also we call it like a scrip dividend. Scrip dividend means you don't give anything, just a free share to keep them happy, but there is no cash outflow. So what will happen? Suddenly the share price will come down because now the amount is same, the share capital is same, and suddenly the number of shares have increased. The share price will come down.
In this case, it will get diluted, right?
Again, ownership will not get diluted. If you see EPS, okay, there are two things. EPS, earning per share, earning per share will remain the same. Let's say you own 100 shares and company has given you 10 more. So you own 110 now. So your ownership is not diluted, still the same proportion. But if you're looking at earning per share is like what is the total profit divided by number of shares. Let's say previously you have 100, now 110. So earning per share from that perspective will be reduced, theoretical. But
Okay.
you're earning as an shareholder for all, what you hold will remain the same. Per share, if somebody is looking from outside, for them it will be like, okay, the earning per share has gone down. It makes sense?
Yes, Misbah. Even PE ratio also, right, will go down.
Yes,
Because,
obviously. Therefore, the companies are not doing all of this. We need to control the ratios also. And the ratio is not just for a current shareholders or your shareholders alone. It is for the future shareholders, it is for the suppliers, it is for the employees. Everyone is looking at that. Because very few people will understand, okay, company did this, and because of that, the share price has gone down. Nobody has time. Ultimately, people want to see the share price going up. Sometimes what happens, the share price is going up, but we are constantly raising money through rights issue by giving, let's say, 20%, 30% discount. The share price will go down because of that, and because of the performance go up. So technically, there are two forces. And if someone doesn't have this understanding, if they're looking from outside perspective, what they will think, okay, share price has never gone up. That means company is not performing well, which is a wrong analysis, but we need to control. You control that narrative. To give good signal to the market. Remember, in debt, we want discount from the debt. What we do, we give them convertible option, which say, you can convert to the shares. But purposely, if we are keeping our share price low, then the banks or the financial institution will never convert because they don't have incentive in that. So Hathway Berkshire is like one of the top company. They have very high share. In India, there is one company, MRF. They make tires. They have share price of more than £1,000 a single share. At the same time, there are companies, they have purposely kept their share price very, very low, so that everybody can come in and buy the shares easily. Because if you keep your share price extremely high, that means you're targeting rich people, and rich people is not looking for short term. They'll usually play a long term game. But if you want to keep your share price very low, you are targeting to each and everyone, and or people who are looking for short term gain. Almost anybody can afford your share. If anybody can afford, then anybody can influence. That's another theory of about the share price. If you dig in deep, there are so many things that can come in. If you don't pay dividend and if your share price is extremely high, then it should not be a problem, because usually if the share price is people, they are not looking for dividend every time. They just want multiplication. That can be another reason. Yeah.
So that's the dividend factors where it talks about irrelevance of the dividend from the share wealth.
Yes. Yes.
But then, Mispa, like, doesn't the liquidity of the shares get affected then? Like, suppose they want to sell the shares at some point and like the share price is very high, will they find the buyers for that?
Yes, I think they'll find the buyers. Company knows this. As a company, you'll always have this understanding. The company, they themselves might buy the shares back. One of the way they keep the share price so high is they keep on buying the shares themselves.
I think that's one of the strategy where we do not
Because
even we do
imagine if
not have
people are trying to sell and nobody is buying. Let's say there are very less buyers, it will create panic and everyone want to start selling. Then if they start selling, the share price will come down. So company knows this. As a finance director, you will understand this, obviously, isn't it? It's so basic. So you'll have a strategy in place. Raju, what did you say last time, please?
I was saying the buying back the shares is one of the strategy when we do not foresee any positive NPV projects and we have enough cash with us. Then we
Yes.
can think of that.
Yeah. Well, in practical, it may be so many other reasons, but anyways, we don't need to say that in the exam. At the end, it's just the exam. Joe, you're saying not clear yet. So, will the public announcement affect the share price? Yes, it will affect. The answer is yes. What we are saying is there are other reasons also which can affect the share price. This is one of the major reasons. But apart from that, if company want to give rights issue, they want to give free share, the share price will go down. If you keep on buying back, the share price can go up. There are the other reasons. But public announcement is one of the major reasons. Is it clear now? Okay, anything else? So did you guys go through the 15-point topics? Is it done? Because my expectation was you guys might have gone through all of this, which is again repetitive of what we discussed in EP and F and the industry. And if you have any doubt, particularly from this, I want to discuss. So tell me honestly, if you have gone through all the 50 points and you are confident to write about it. We are not talking about mugging up anything and memorizing, but sometimes certain points you have to remember, at least, maybe 10-20% of that. So it will save time. One of the reasons why CIMA exam becomes difficult is the time. Imagine instead of 3 hours, you have 4 hours. I think everyone can pass. You'll have 90% pass. But because of the time, you need to have your answer. Therefore, I said like funding, share price, stakeholders, risk, pestle SWOT. Why we are doing it is in the exam, you don't need to think. Within 5 or maximum 10 minutes, you should start writing. In 10 to 12 minutes max to max, you have a structure and an answer ready in your mind for both the tasks. Sort of 1 hour, in 10 minutes, you are ready. Then 45 minutes you are typing and last 5 minutes you are doing review or some touch-ups like that. Yes, integrated reporting, coming back to that point. So what is integrated reporting firstly? Integrated reporting is basically consolidation of, or rather integration of financial and non-financial. Okay. Usually they will ask it's not a legal requirement. So maybe the board is thinking whether we should do integrated reporting or not. So if they ask that question, you should know the advantages of that. So you can write in heading as an advantage. Like if you can see on the screen, it can improve company's profile. It can give good or improve relationship with our investors. It can attract new talent. If you see the millennials, the Gen Z, what we are talking about, they want to work with a company which is having a social cause. We all as a human being, if you see given a option, we want to be associated with a company which is for the good cause, right? Though every company says that, but if they're actually doing it, we'll be very happy to get associated with them, isn't it? So you can talk about that. You can even talk about some of the disadvantages. What can the disadvantage? The cost, it's not a legal requirement, extra compliance, whatever logically you can think of. And sometimes they will say the board has decided to do it and they want to do in this capitals, which can be another thing. So you should know the capital, the 6 capitals as we discussed: financial, manufacturing, intellectual, human, social, and natural capital. So technically, when they say this capital, means how we are affecting this capital. Natural capital. In our case, natural capital can be mining part. Financial capital is how much money we have. Manufacturing capital is what are the latest technology we are using in manufacturing, automation, and all of those. Make sense?
And is this the same as the sustainability reporting or is it different?
Almost the same. In sustainability reporting, you can just talk about finance and say sustainability report because you're looking at profitability of the business, or balance scorecard if you say performance analysis, performance evaluation. Because when you evaluate performance, we want to look at the long term also, sustainability. But here it's specific in integrated reporting, and they have given the capitals also. They are saying, okay, you don't need to disclose on everything, but disclose on these 6 capitals. Or if you're not using or affecting the 6 capitals, but at least out of this 3, 4, 5, whatever you're doing as a part of the business, disclose that.
Misbah, how is reputational risk is the disadvantage of this? Because if we are doing integrated reporting, it is supposed to be a good thing. So how?
Can you repeat what you said, Aditi?
I'm saying, how is reputational risk a disadvantage of integrated reporting? Because it is supposed to enhance that we are trying to give a holistic view of our reports instead of actually affecting us negatively in terms of
That's the
reputation.
point. Yeah. Anybody want to answer that?
I can answer that, Ms. Ma.
Okay, I think Raju, go ahead.
Both one by one. Yeah.
Okay, so because of integrated reporting, we produce more of non-financial related information that is related to sustainability, environment, etc. So there can be chances where the information can be misused. Number one, too much information basically. Number two, the type of measures that we use in quantifying the non-financial outcomes may not be appropriate sometime, or it may not give right the comparison to the industry or the market. So that can also lead to reputational issue.
Yeah, to add to that, like the KPIs, what Raju mentioned, it might be just, manipulated just to show that we are doing a good job or something like that. So that can lead to reputational risk.
Yes.
Example, yeah, it's an example in the Cewmlator. We used to use a less electric, less power previously, and we use more power compared to before. It is due to because our production level is high and our outcome of selling our cars is also higher, which is profit also high. However, if we put that down in under integrated reporting incorrectly, or let's say why you're using so much power compared to previously, it doesn't justify because we're still not working on a recycling on a battery. That can be a reputational risk because it can go against us.
Okay, got it. Thanks everyone.
It's like a CO2, I think.
Yeah, same thing with the electricity consumption as well. It has gone up by 52% of the usage from 2023 to 2024. If we try to connect that to the revenue growth percentage, which is 20%, it is not in line with the electricity being used. So it can pose a question on, are we efficiently utilizing the energy? So these kind of metrics can cause us the problem.
Right. Another example, if you guys want to see outside the industries, data centers coming up, a lot of data centers coming up in the US, and local people have to pay the price. So if they do social relationship capital, it can be a very big reputational risk for them. Because they're consuming so much water, they're consuming so much electricity, which is becoming expensive or even unavailable for the local population.
Also, Ms. Bhav, whatever we have promised, and if we are unable to meet that, and if we are below the par, then that can also cause a problem. Maybe first 2 years in our integrated reporting, we would have presented a good result, but in the third year, if it is declining or there is adverse situation, that can cause a problem.
Yes, and that's what the government and the other association wants. They want to put pressure on the companies to commit, and once they commit, they'll keep challenging them. It's better not to overpromise. You can promise something, and when you're promising, okay, I'm promising 5, then I can give 6, I can give 7. Then promise 5.
I think because we looked at the reputational risk, we had to talk a lot, but then we can always talk about from the positive standpoint on integrated reporting, right? More of an advantages.
Obviously.
So, yeah.
Because what companies usually are doing in the real world, there are options. I mean, examples available online if you check. Whatever currently they are doing, they are discussing that. They're not investing more. But whatever good part they are doing, let's say employment, they are giving a lot of people. They are showing this as an integrated reporting. CSR, they are doing. Social relationship, they are highlighting. Manufacturing updates they have done, they are showing that as a manufacturing capital. So ESG again is relevant to that. And ESG reporting is becoming more and more relevant in the industry. And that's a good career. If you guys are interested, you can consider that. One of our student, I would say, uh, he got into a job, ESG. I think it's a London-based firm. So usually this jobs are increasing, and if you are interested, you understand the finance now, you want to know the non-financial part. Again, the skill they are looking is the financial expertise first. It's a finance role. So if you're asked about the challenges of how an issue will impact the IR, are they mostly based on the impact it will have on reputation? Kind of, yes. Maybe and maybe not. Depending in what sense they're asking, but mostly the stakeholders, they can't do anything. They can just have a perception about us. So that will affect our reputation. So I was asking, did all of you guys have gone through the 50 topics? Is there any other confusion?
Yes, Miss, I've gone through.
Thanks, Raju. What about others?
I have gone through as well.
Those who can't talk, they can put in chat.
No, I have gone through them, but just going through again in case if I can pick any topic to discuss.
Yes, please. Anil, Anil, are you there? Anil, I have not seen any of your mock. Did you send me? Or did you post on the group? Hello? You can put into chat. Yes, mock is very important. And as I said, at least 2 to 3 mocks. Do continuously 3 hours. I know all mocks are not possible. At least 2 mocks. Because when you sit for 3 hours, you'll understand. When you're in the third hour, you're not fresh. You're completely tired. Your decision making and everything can get affected. So if you have practiced already, you know what is going to happen in the exam. Otherwise, you'll be so tired and you'll be like, okay, I just want to finish, and it will affect our quality. You'll be not, giving your best. That will affect. Though the time looks very fast, the 3 hours will feel like 3 minutes, but still you will be tired towards that. And that will show in our writing, and we might look for shortcuts. That should never happen. Trust me, execution is very, very important. That can cause the exam. So time yourself, sit continuously, as good as exam situation. Don't get it.
Thank you. Thank you, Raju. I really like hearing you. You always have very fresh points. Thank you.
Thank you for the feedback, Ina.
Raju is looking for a job. So if you have anything in UK, I think he's ready to move. Right, Raju?
Yes, Miss, after
I
the
think
exam.
a lot of British moving to UAE right now. I'm in one of the point as well. If I find something in Dubai or around the area UAE, I would move. But yeah, Raju, most welcome. Come over.
Thanks, Ina. Please do refer.
All right then. So if you have nothing, I'll not eat up your time. I strongly recommend you guys to take a small break and start doing the mock. We are connecting tomorrow again. We'll do that out. And I'll be there with you, obviously, until the exam day. And if there is something you are uncomfortable to ask in the group, you can always reach out to me personally today, tomorrow, or until the exam day.
Can we go through just proper task paper tomorrow, please? And we all can chip in, of course. We all can answer.
We'll take an actual exam. Okay. Whatever you have, you can bring in. I have no.
I've sent you mock I do not have answer for that at all.
Okay.
But it's I'll just send you a few mocks. Let's see whichever you can pick really. But just like a go through it would be good. Unless other people has different suggestions.
Okay. We can take
Yes,
this.
I wanted to ask, like, is this 50 questions enough, like, to go through to revise, or like, do we need to go through everything before the exam? Just wanted to know that.
I mean, if we can just do this and 100% guarantee, we will not be doing all of that. But I believe just to pass, this can be enough. Can be, okay. I will not say will be.
Yeah.
But the most important document of all what we have done, E3, P3, F3, pre industry, is your own Excel sheet. So that's what you made.
Okay.
That's where you have all the points. So this is what you should do before the exam day, one day. I hope you guys are updating it, because what understanding you have about the stakeholders 2-3 months back and now is totally different. Some of you I know from almost 6 months plus. So what your understanding you have that time and now is totally different. The risk calls every day, our understanding will get refined. So make sure you update your Excel sheet. Don't say, okay, it was done. No, daily you have to open it and just update as if your understanding goes up. Think as if that sheet is in your brain. This is where your data is fit, and that's what you are going to write in the Excel. Let's say you have put about integrated reporting there. Now you can quickly go and update some examples, what you learned today. All right, then. So, yes, Hemant.
One thing is there. I was going through the WhatsApp. Their mock G answers were not there. Though you have uploaded the same on there, but it's not downloading.
Yes,
And
I got them. I'll send all of them again. Yeah.
Yeah, mock F questions.
I think 3-4 files are not being downloaded. I'll send all of them again.
Yeah. Please.
Sorry about that.
Are they on the drive also, Mispa, or do we need to download?
No.
Okay.
Because it's CIMA mocks, so obviously no.
Okay.
We have our mocks on our drive. All right, then we'll connect tomorrow.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Ba.
Have a
This
good
was
evening.
really helpful.
Thank you, Ms. Ba. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.